I have now made an 1890s waistcoat, which was very fun, and I had a lot of fun making it. And now it is time to make a matching skirt. Wow, this is really heavy. Oh my god. It's time to make a matching skirt with this very heavy wool that I did not think through, because that's gonna be heavy to wear. Anyway, I've already cut out the pattern. It is the... let me check what it actually is. Hold on. Please hold. It is Black Snail's 0414 1890s fan skirt, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's just get started. Okay, well, I just filmed a whole clip explaining the pattern and the wool and everything, and you couldn't see my face in any of it, so I'm gonna explain it again. This is the bit of the fabric that I cut the waistcoat out of, and I still have a considerable amount of it left, which is a bit funny, because basically when I went and bought this wool, I only bought 4 meters of it to begin with, because I had just thought, oh, I'll make a skirt. I hadn't like bought this pattern or anything yet. I was there and I saw the wool and I thought, oh, I can make a cool skirt out of this. And so I bought 4 meters of it, thinking that would be enough for the skirt. And they only had 6¼ meters of it, like total, and it was dead stock. I had walked away, I'd like gone to a coffee shop, and I'm sitting there in the coffee shop and I'm thinking, I should have bought the rest of it so I can make a waistcoat too. And so I went back and I bought the 2¼ meters. Obviously they cut the 4 meters off and then there was the 2¼ meters left over. So I have it in 2 sections. And this is the 2¼ meters of it, which I had thought was going to be just enough for the waistcoat. And I don't know why I thought that. Maybe I thought that it was a lot narrower than it was. But yeah, clearly I have plenty of it left over. So I'm going to try and cut as much of the skirt out of this as I can before I move on to the 4 meters, which is a bit weird because I'm going to have a lot of the 4 meters left over by the end of the skirt. So I don't quite know what to do with that. I might make a like cape or a coat or something. I'll find something to do with it. Having more wool is never a bad thing. I'm also going to try and pattern match this as well as I can with the waistcoat. So I don't know if you can see there, but when I put the waistcoat on, the point of it, like the center of it, is kind of on this lighter brown square. So I'm going to try and do the same thing with the center of the skirt being kind of in the middle of the lighter brown square. This pattern confuses me a bit. Well, it doesn't confuse me. It's just, I don't work with patterns very often in general. I'm still very new to this, and I've tended to like self-draft a lot of things or like use a circle skirt or whatever. This one, it wants me to cut it on a fold. I don't generally like cutting things on a fold because I feel like it's hard to match up the grain lines and to match up the pattern, and I'm very, very particular about pattern matching. You can see that from my last video if you watched that, all 3 of you. So I'm gonna pin this down. I might just trace it and then flip that and then trace it on the other side, just so I don't have to fold it. So all the pieces are cut out. I don't know if I mentioned that I was going to line this skirt because I wanted to give the wool a little bit more body than it has. So I got this kind of stiff cotton for flat lining this. I still have a couple meters left of the wool, so I might be able to make something out of it. I did try to do as much pattern matching as I could. I didn't want to waste a whole lot of fabric by making it perfect and having to like move the pieces further than they needed to be. It's not entirely perfect, but I don't think anybody will be looking that closely at it. So this took an embarrassingly long time, mostly because the back pieces were shortened and so I had to lengthen them myself and it was a whole thing. So it's getting late and I might leave it for today, but tomorrow I will get started on basting together the 2 layers and flatlining it, and then I'll start putting it together. Alright, so my pieces are all flatlined and I've run into a bit of a problem, as usual. So the pattern has told me to cut this back piece in 2 if I'm doing it on a striped fabric and to cut them separately. So that's what I did, but now you can see my pattern doesn't match up. And I don't entirely know why that is, because I was sure that I pattern matched it when I cut it out. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not the neatest. It's sort of close to pattern matching. I mean, that's a lie, but it's really just these back pieces, because you can see that the front would line up pretty well, and I've checked the back too, and that lines up pretty well. It's literally just this piece in the middle, and I'm not sure there's anything I can do about that, and I'm not going to recut it, so I will just have to live with the pattern being slightly askew. And now it is time for me to sew this side back seam, I suppose this is. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Right, well, you can see that an attempt was made. An attempt did not succeed, unfortunately, but that is quite all right. I mean, on the plus side, this looks like it's gonna be a spectacularly swooshy skirt. You can see how big these panels are, so that's gonna be quite fun. Next thing, I'm supposed to sew up the center back seam, and then we will deal with the placket. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, the back seam is done. Pray for pattern matching. Let's see. Okay, I think that'll do. So we've got almost the whole back panel done now. I'm just gonna do the placket real quick, which I need to actually look up how to do that. I might press the seam open first if I'm being a good sewist, which I should. So I'll press the seam, and then I will try and figure out the placket. Give me a minute. Well, I've been trying to puzzle this out, and I cannot figure it out because the pattern says mark the stitching line, and it hasn't given me a stitching line on the pattern, and I'm rather confused. Unless it's the usual seam allowance. I don't quite know. The point is that first it says stitch the short end. So I'm going to do that because that's the part that I know how to do. Placket is sewn and pressed. Look at me pressing all my things like I'm a real sewist. So now, from what I gather, this raw edge gets sewn to the right side of the skirt. But before I do that, I'm supposed to sew the eyes in because I'm doing hook and eye closures. So like theoretically, I would sew the hooks or the eyes like that, and then this would get folded and there would just be like a little bit protruding like that from, because this would be the bit that's sewn to the skirt, obviously. I think that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know if it makes sense. I think that's how that works. And I think I would just do it based off of the seam allowance they've given me, which is 5/8 of an inch, which is a weird measurement for a seam allowance. I know that's normal, but I don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna do the eyes, I think. So I've done a couple, I've got like 6 more to go, and I think I'm just gonna put a show on and continue to hand sew these. Okay, so that's the eyes done. It's not the neatest job I've ever done. I kind of messed up that one there, but you won't be able to tell when it's on. I think I've done a good bit of work for today, so I might leave it here for today, and then I'll see you tomorrow. So I was going to eat dinner and then put this project to bed for the night and then go to bed myself, but I can't stop thinking about it, and so I'm gonna work on it some more. I'm terrible. So basically, I think I'm just gonna sew on the placket and maybe the placket facing. We'll see how much I actually get done tonight. Right, so currently this is the back of my skirt. This is the center back seam, and as you can see, I've left quite a bit of a gap. This is what it told me to do. So now basically what you do, or what I think you do, is you sew on the placket this way. So basically it would be sewn on like this, and then this bit that's left there comes like that, so that it makes a nice clean join right there and nothing overlaps. That is the idea of the placket. I've never actually done one before. I mean, I have, but I kind of did it myself, and we all know that when I draft things myself, they don't turn out very well. The only thing is that I've got this raw edge here, which it didn't tell me to do anything about, but if I was gonna do this again, I would sew this short end and one of the longer ends, and then turn it inside out through like this hole here, so that I wouldn't have any raw edges. I don't think it matters too much because the seam itself is still raw, and so however I end up finishing the seam, this raw edge will probably get finished the same way. I might just overcast it, honestly, but that's for another time. For now, let me just sew on the placket, and then the facing essentially gets the same treatment. I would do it like this, fold that in, and that way we've got a nice clean fold there. This bit would get felled down to the lining. Could do it on the machine, but because of these eyes, I think I'm gonna hand sew this because I really don't want to break a needle on one of these. So I'm gonna hand sew the placket. The placket facing I could do on the machine, but if I'm gonna be hand sewing anyway, I might as well just hand sew it. So that's the plan. I'm just gonna sit here and get some hand sewing done, and hopefully by the end of the night we will have a completed back seam, minus finishing the seams. The back seam is pretty much almost done, but you can see how nicely that's gonna line up once that's all put together. So I'm very pleased with that. You can kind of see the eyes poking out, so I think that I did that okay. This is all pressed into place, this is pressed into place. The way that the instructions are, they don't want me to do the hooks until the very end. I would rather just have the back seam complete. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem when like putting on the waistband and everything. So I might as well just put in the hooks now and then call it a night. Okay, well, I did one and then I promptly got tired, but I think this one turned out great. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go to bed and I will see you tomorrow. Good afternoon. It is a lovely cloudy day here in London. I just smashed a job interview and let's get to sewing. So I have just gone ahead and marked where all of the hooks need to go. I'm just gonna do them now. Darts are in, and now we put in the side seams and pockets, at which point I think I can do a fitting, which will be very exciting. So now these are on, you stitch it here, and then you basically flip it out like that, and then we attach the side seams and we stitch it like this. So that way we finish up, we've sewn the pocket bag, and we sew the side seams, and then you've still got this opening here. But it's attached to each individual part of the skirt, if that makes any sense. This is all in the instructions, which I'm sure explain it better than I do. Okay, so first try on. I like it a lot. It's a bit, I don't know. I was hoping it would kind of have more. I'm not wearing my corset right now, so I think maybe when I have the corset on, it will kind of have more of the right shape. Like, I'm not mad at it. I think it's great. Pockets feel nice and roomy. I'm just a bit, I don't know. I don't quite understand why the side seam feels like so forward. I feel like it should be a little bit further back like this, but then obviously the front doesn't look as nice. I don't know. I think I'm nitpicking because honestly, I think it's very fun and very swooshy and voluminous. I can see myself getting a lot of wear out of this because I would just wear this generally. There's also supposed to be a box pleat in the back, so I've gone ahead and pinned that in. I need to baste it properly. And it feels a little bit loose in the waist, but I think once I put the waistband on and I've got that final hook and eye at the top, I think that will fit me pretty much perfectly, especially with the corset on and everything, because I know that corsets are supposed to give you waist reduction. They don't for me. I get like an inch max, and then you put all the layers on top and it kind of adds itself back. It's because I have like 2 inches of space between my bottom ribs and my hip bone. It's just the way I'm built. That's why padding was invented, and you know, people faked their silhouette back then too. I will be fine with the corset on, I think. I don't think it'll affect the waist measurement all that much, really. Next steps, I think, are waistband and hem, and then like finishing all the seams, I guess. So the waistband, I can do some of it with machine, and then some of it felling down the front of it will have to be done by hand, obviously. The hem, I was really hoping I would be able to do it by machine, but I'm now realizing that if I turn it up and I sew it just to the lining, you won't see the hem line at the bottom, which I think I would kind of prefer. So that might have to be done by hand, but it's pretty much almost done. I forgot how much quicker skirts come together than bodices and vests and whatever. So I'm glad I did the vest first and got it out of the way, because frankly, I have 2 days left. Today is Tuesday, and Thursday afternoon we're doing this. I have like a day and a half left. Oh my god, I kind of love it when I like bell it out like this. I think that looks very cool. I cannot wait to... I'm gonna put the waistcoat on. Give me 1 second. Oh my god, this looks so cool together! I mean, ignore the blue jumper, but other than that, wow, this looks, oh, this is gonna be so much fun. But also, just walking to my wardrobe and back, obviously the hem is gonna come up a little bit, but I was tripping over it. So I think, obviously it's not supposed to be trailing on the floor, but I tend to be quite a bit shorter than patterns account for, and I kind of like my skirts like longest ankle length. I don't really like it where it goes all the way down, especially because I'm not planning on wearing shoes with a heel with this. So when I stand on tiptoes, it kind of just skims the floor, and I'm assuming that's about as much as I would hem it up, according to the pattern. Why is there a thread on this? Get off. Shoot. So I might cut off a bit more of the hem than it asks for, because I would rather have it just a wee bit too short than too long and I'm tripping over it. Because I do intend to do some walking in this walking skirt, believe it or not. I wish I'd put like on my shirt and my corset with everything. I will once I'm done with the skirt, and I will try it on with everything and show you, because I do think the corset makes a bit of a difference towards just how structured this bit feels. You can see that there's some wrinkling here right now, and I do get like just a little bit of waist reduction with the corset, but it's mainly just the structure of it that helps. Anyway, I'm just rambling now because I don't want to take this off, and I have to because I'm hungry and I should eat lunch, but oh, I love sewing, and I love Victorian things and 1890s skirts and vests, and I'm so pleased right now. I will see you after lunch. So this pattern has an optional like pointed waistband, which I thought was really cool. So I'm gonna do that. For some reason they have it, the waistband cut as two separate pieces rather than what I would normally do is just fold it over. So normally I would have like one very thick piece, I'd fold it and then fold under and fold under. I mean, that's generally I think how you do a waistband, or I don't know. So with this pointed waistband, it had me cut out one pointed piece and one straight piece, and now I'm just going to stitch along that, and then I shall affix it to the skirt, which you will see post-haste. Am I okay? What was that? So I've got the waistband pinned in now. I'm really not certain what the point of doing this in two pieces was and sewing them together. I would much rather fold it in the future because I don't know, I just feel like this adds extra bulk at the waistband, and why would anybody want that, especially in this time period where you want the waist to be small. Yeah, I cannot say I quite understand that. I'm sure there is a reason, and I don't understand it. Could just be me. It usually is. Obviously, I will trim down the seam allowance so it won't be that much extra bulk, but it just confuses me a bit. Anyway, so I've pinned this on. I'll just go ahead and sew that down. This is the inside, obviously, and then this flips around, and I fell it down to the outside. So, I mean, it's a waistband. You've seen a waistband before, probably. Also, the pattern didn't say to do this, but I've pinned in a bit of twill tape here so that I can attach it to the pocket, and the pocket's weight can then be suspended from the waistband rather than from just the side seam. That's something that they would have done historically. I also know from experience, having done this before, that it really, really helps distribute the weight of whatever's in your pocket so that you're not, like, pulled sideways or, you know, your skirt isn't weighed down by it. It's really all anchored at the waist. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew that in. Okay, so I was gonna do this bit of the waistband by machine, but this is a lot of skirt to wrangle at the moment. It's so heavy, which is gonna be a bit of a problem because I'm 5 foot and very small, and wearing heavy garments is generally not something I do. The corset should help distribute the weight. I'm not super worried about it, but the point is that it's kind of too heavy to put under the machine and also kind of too thick, and there's too many pieces and there's like pleating. Long story short, I'm gonna hand sew it. I don't really want to, but I also am scared of my machine. I'm a really professional sewist. Yeah, I'm gonna hand sew it. I'll do a back stitch or something. Anyway. I've sewn on the waistband. That's all well and good, except once again, this pattern is boggling my mind. Because why? Somebody explain to me what I've done wrong. In that I sewed this on with the seam allowance. I marked the seam allowance of 5/8 of an inch, which is a stupid number, but that's the apparent standard. And now when I fold this over, it's so much bigger than it needs to be. Normally what you would do is, or what I would do is like fold it over so that it's flush with the top raw edge here, and you just have that fold lie right along that. But obviously, as you can see, there's this big seam here, and because I used like scrap fabric for the back part, and then I used a nice matching, like I pattern matched the front of the waistband, obviously I don't want this bit showing. So I'm at a bit of a loss because I don't quite know how, like, what to do now. So my initial thought is just to press this so that I have a nice clean fold here, and then to just have that be a little bit further up from the raw edge. I don't think that would be the end of the world because, one, that would definitely reduce the bulk because it wouldn't have all of these layers right at the waist. It would be just a little bit below the waist. And then the waistband is also a little bit wider, which I think I would prefer. So I think that might be what I do. Another thing, so I lined up the center of this perfectly with the center of the skirt, and yet this bit is just a little bit short when I fold in the seam allowance, which I should, because otherwise there will be a raw edge there. And I don't understand why it's a bit short, because you can see when I fold this back over then, like the raw edge would match up perfectly, but obviously I don't want a raw edge there right on the outside of the waistband, because also I pattern matched it, so I know that I matched up the centers exactly. I'm actually just realizing that this actually poses a bit of a problem, that this is very short, because one, if I fold back that seam allowance, now this top raw edge is exposed, which obviously is not ideal. But also, I don't know how I've done this, that why is this bit not the part that extends? Like, why do I have all this excess here? Shouldn't this be the part that extends because that's the placket? Like, I don't understand. I'm certain I've done something wrong. I don't know how this happened. Again, with the pattern matching, I was sure when I cut out the pattern that I was doing it correctly because I had pattern matched it so precisely. I'm gonna check the instructions again because I don't know how I've done this. Okay, yeah, I did it backwards. I don't know how I did it backwards. Well, obviously this bit, you know, the closure is not gonna work this way. It has to be that bit is the one that extends. That combined with this whole folding situation, this extra seam, the whole thing is just making me want to rip off the waistband and do it my way and like just do one wider piece that I then fold in half. I'm not sure if that's wise, and I don't like to deviate from the pattern, but I'm sure that they want me to attach the waistband a different way and I don't want to. I think I'm gonna have to do it. I think I'm gonna have to, I mean, to be fair, backstitching this took me, like, I can actually check how long it took me because I started watching a video. It took me 23 minutes. It's not the end of the world. It's just annoying when you have to, like, unpick work that you've done. But yeah, I definitely did the waistband badly. Again, it happens, mistakes happen. I'm gonna cut out the whole thing again, and I'm gonna do it with a fold at the top instead of this seam because I just don't like it. I'm sure there was some reason that they did that. It's just not my cup of tea, and I'm gonna deviate from the pattern just this once. So let me recut this and resew it, and then I'll get back to you. Rip. Seam rip. I'm really sorry. Okay, hang on. I'm not crazy, right? This is the actual pattern. And this side is longer, so it overlaps. Like, the longer bit. I did it right, is my point. Is I'm pretty sure I did it right, unless I'm completely stupid, which, let's be honest, it is a possibility. But I'm 98% sure that I did it right, and then that bit is longer, except the other bit should have been longer, because that's where the placket is. Unless I put on the placket backwards, which, again, is highly probable. So maybe I put on the placket backwards. I don't know. The point is that I didn't cut this out wrong. I just did something else wrong. Probably. I don't know. The point is I feel vindicated. I shouldn't because I still got it wrong. Oh, wow, the flash. Okay. I have re-sewn on the waistband. So I cut it out pretty much with the same width as the other one, except obviously without the seam down the middle. And so now I can either trim this down and fold it straight over like this, nice and flush against that, and then tack that down, fell it down, and that would give quite a nice narrow waistband, but it would also be kind of bulky here. Like I said, there's a lot going on here. There's a pleat and there's a dart. And so I thought, I don't know if this is how the pattern originally wanted it, but I thought maybe it did make sense after all to do this kind of like folded waistband here. I'd kind of press that, and then whatever's left over, then I fold this under and tack it. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll do the math and I'll fold under the seam allowance and press that and then press this fold, and hopefully that will be okay for the waistband. I don't know, it scares me. Okay, so I hope this makes sense what I've done here. I've basically just folded it here so you can see that this bit is really thin right there because that's just two layers of wool. And then I've matched up the seam allowance with the top edge of the skirt. And I'll just basically sew up this side, fell all of this down, sew up the other side. Once this is all fell down, then I will give this a really good press to just get that nice and clean. But I like the way that this is turning out just because I think that this will be really nice and thin against my waist. And then this, all the bulk will be like, how much is that? Like half an inch lower. I'm not sure it'll make too much of a difference, but it might be more comfortable at least so that there's not so much bulk running around my waist, because also the waistcoat is quite tight around my waist. So I think the least bulk I can have around my waist, the better it will be. It is getting a bit late, so I might just I'll finish the waistband off camera, and then I'll just go to bed. And tomorrow, I pretty much just have the hem to do, which is gonna take me freaking all day because I have to do it by hand so that I can only catch the lining and not the actual outside of the skirt, so that you won't see the hem from the outside, hopefully. But yeah, this is a very swooshy skirt, and it's gonna have a lot of hem, so that's gonna take literally all day. And I've just been invited to go sword shopping with my friend tomorrow, so that will be fun. So tomorrow's just the hem, and then Thursday, so the day after tomorrow, we're gonna go see War of the Worlds. So I need to have this done by tomorrow night because we're leaving pretty early on Thursday morning. And so I think what's gonna end up happening is that I will finish the hem and I will not finish the seams. I would like to finish the seams. I would like to just overcast them if I have time, but honestly, I'm gonna be wearing a petticoat under this, and I think the seams will survive one day without being finished, and then I will finish them after War of the Worlds. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna go finish the waistband, and I will see you tomorrow. You guys wanna see my big sword? Wait, no. I bought a sword. It's so cool. I love it so much. Its name is Nightshade because poison was always said to be a woman's weapon. And so is my big sword. No! I love this so much. This is a, like, proper stage combat sword. So my friend and I are gonna fight each other in the park. Anyway, this is a tangent. I'm very excited about Nightshade. Okay, so hopefully today is the last day. I mean, it better be the last day because we're gonna go see War of the Worlds tomorrow. So this skirt needs to be done today. Here it is. I finished the waistband yesterday. I'm now realizing that I may have pattern matched it a little too well because the pointed waistband bit is kind of invisible. So that's on me. This back closure is confusing me a little bit. I think I need to put like 2 hooks and eyes like that because obviously this is not going to cut it. And then basically I just have to hem it. I'll measure from my waist to my ankle, and then I'll measure down from the waistband to, and I'll mark it along the, you'll see. Well, good news is it looks like it's about right. It looks, I mean, it feels like it's just about grazing the floor on every side. I can't tell if it's even all the way around, honestly, and I don't think I'll be able to tell because I'm wearing it and I don't have anywhere to put it. I don't have a dress form or anything. I'm gonna try it with the petticoat real quick. Hold on. Okay, I'm not sure if this made all that much of a difference with the petticoat. I feel like it did. I feel like it's a lot more poofy. The petticoat also has some gathering at the back. I'm not wearing my corset right now, which I think is not helping matters, but it's really fine. But the petticoat has some gathering at the back, which is helping to support the heavy pleats in the back. Anyway, all that to say, I think the hem is about as even as it's gonna get. I might just get to it because the fact that it took me that long to cut out the hem means that this is going to be a very long day of hemming by hand. But oh my god, I love this skirt. Also, it takes me 12 years to put on because I put so many hooks and eyes. Don't know why I decided I needed that many hooks and eyes. I'm procrastinating because I don't want to hem this, but I have to. I really like it with the petticoat. I actually just finished this petticoat today. It was basically almost done. I just had like one more seam to finish. So I did that real quick this morning. I can actually show you because this was a lot of fun to make. I'm gonna make a shorter one for like some of my more normal skirts. But there she is, my petticoat. I really love it because this frill at the bottom really makes it like stick out, and it's made out of a bed sheet, so it's like flowy enough, but it has like enough structure that it really helps kind of poof out this skirt. And I'm very excited to try this on with my corset and my vest and everything because I think I'll really have that hourglass shape, which I've never had in my life because I am not an hourglass shaped person. I am a stick. I have no curves. Which is okay. That's just the way my body is. But it makes me very happy to see this silhouette on myself just because I love the 1890s so much and I love the Victorian hourglass silhouette corset thing. I've talked about this a bazillion times. I'm procrastinating. I'm gonna go hem things. Bye. Oh, we're halfway there. I'm actually 3/5 of the way through, so, you know, that's better, but it didn't go with the song. So we're getting there. It's like 7. I might have dinner and come back to it. I need a little bit of a break anyway. My hands are tired, but so close. I'm so excited to actually put this on and it be done. Oh, I've been working on this forever. So I finished the skirt really late last night and I didn't really feel like putting everything on to show you the final reveal. So it is now the afternoon. I am preparing to go out for War of the Worlds and here we go. Ta-da! Ah! I love it so much. I love it with the corset. I think it really helps. I mean, first of all, it helps distribute the weight because this is a heavy freaking skirt. I mean, I know it's made of wool, but I should have expected it to be this heavy. Okay, well, I've had to zoom out quite a lot so you can actually see the whole thing, but I hope you can. I love this so much. I can't handle it. I can't handle how cool this is. Also, please ignore my hair and makeup. I know it's not historically accurate, but I'm having fun. I cannot put into words how much I love this skirt and this whole ensemble. I'm gonna be very excited when I put on the waistcoat, but I wanted to show you the skirt on its own first because I do actually... Man, this is so hard to frame. I think you can actually kind of see the pointed waistband. It's not like super clear because I pattern matched it too well. I guess it kind of shows up if you're looking for it, that's fine. I do intend to wear this skirt kind of on its own at some point, not with the waistcoat. I like it with the waistcoat, definitely, and I'm gonna be wearing that a lot, but I think the skirt on its own works well as well. Words are hard. Also, pockets. Yay! Yay for pockets. Giant pockets. You can see how far down my arms go. I don't know what else to say about this skirt that I haven't already said. I love it. I think the hem turned out okay. It is a little bit uneven. I don't know if you can see that really. It's a little bit uneven. It was always gonna be because I don't have a dress form and so I had to measure it on myself. And if anyone's looking at the hem of my skirt and not the entire ensemble, I've done something wrong. I'm just incredibly pleased with how this turned out, considering I'm still kind of a novice at all of this, and I had to make some stuff up as I went, and the instructions confused me because I'm bad at things. I think it still turned out really well, and I'm sorry, I'm just tucking in my shirt a little bit more in the back. I'm extremely proud of how this turned out. I don't know if you can see, I still don't know what I've done with this back piece. I think it's that the waistband is a bit too chunky here, and so it kind of pops out like that. I might have to... I don't really know what to do about that. By the way, I'm talking very loudly right now and, you know, perfectly able. I'm not out of breath or anything. I just want to point that out to anybody who hates corsets. I'm wearing my corset right now and I feel great. Also, I do think that this would benefit from having a bustle pad. I just think that that would really help with the silhouette at the back. They did give a pattern for a bustle pad. I just didn't have time to make it, so I might make that. And I might make a quick video on that because I think that'll be a very, one-day project sort of thing. I've been talking for 3.5 minutes. I'm just so excited about this skirt and I love it unbelievably. I'm, unreasonably excited about this skirt. I feel so cool. I feel so pretty. I feel so swooshy. It does have a considerable amount of swoosh with this petticoat under it, which is, agreeable to me. Thank you for coming along on this skirt making adventure. I hope it wasn't too all over the place. I have so much footage to edit, so that's gonna be really fun later, but that's a problem for another day. Thanks for watching. Hello, just wanted to give a quick update. I've just come home. It's been a very long day, but I've been wearing my corset for almost 12 hours now, I think. And I was a little bit worried because I've never worn one for that long before, really. And I feel great. I feel totally fine, which I know, I say a lot of stuff about corsets and wow, sorry, my mascara is really smudgy. It's been a very long day. A lot of fun. I say a lot of things about oh, corsets aren't the death machines that everyone says they are, which I still think is true, but I also think that, I don't know, I guess I thought that wearing it for a very long time would at least feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it really doesn't. I feel so good right now. I feel very, supported. My posture has been great all day. I don't know, it just makes me feel really cool to be wearing this outfit. So let me turn you around. There I am. I'm so tired. I'm gonna go to bed. This was a little epilogue to the video, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me to make this outfit. I had so much fun, and I will see you in my next one. Bye now.